And so I'm like, okay, let's see if this man is a man of his word. I sit down, and the first break goes fine. And I think we do 2 breaks or 3?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
So we're having to go. I think we did 3. I can't remember. Right. But at one point, the crowd I get a standing ovation. We're going into break, and he says, "We'll be back," and Glenn's going to share his grandma's sugar cookie recipe or whatever. And the crowd stands up, and they're applauding, and Jay reaches over, and he puts his hand on my microphone and his microphone while the crowd is really going crazy, and he said, "You know, we're not all that different." Now, he didn't say he agrees with me politically, because I don't think he does. But he said, "We're really not all that different. We actually probably have an awful lot in common." And I thought, well, there's something. So the show ends. Jay's a man of his word. I'm flying out. This is a year later. I'm flying out to Los Angeles, and it's my birthday. And my wife, I'm supposed to be working on my birthday, and, we have nothing planned for me. It's just another day. But unbeknownst to me, my wife calls Jay Leno and says, "Jay, it's Glenn's birthday, and he really wants to see your car collection. Is there any way he could just go in and see your car collection?" Not assuming that Jay Leno is going to be there.
Yeah, like you do a tour without him there.
Right. Okay, Jay Leno's not going to show up.
Right.
And he says, absolutely. And so my wife tells me as we're landing in Burbank, she says, "By the way, we're going to go over and see Jay Leno's car collection." And I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." And she said, "No." And I'm really excited just to see the cars. The car pulls up, and Jay is there at the warehouse out front, ready to meet us. And we get out, and he is totally a different guy. I'm not talking politically. I'm talking, he's just now a guy who's a mechanic. He's just a normal guy. And we talked for a few minutes, and I said, "Jay, you're not the same guy I saw on the Tonight Show." And he said, "That's the role I play." And he said, "That place is just, it's like all places." He said the people are really good, but the politics and everything. And he's not talking about national politics. He's talking about office politics. And
you're not saying that in a bad way, that he's different. You're saying
no. He's doing he's doing his job. Yeah. Now he's who he is in real life. And all of us are different in real life. I mean, you know what I mean? You're a performer, and then you are. No, Jeffy's looking at me. I don't mean it. See, this is coming out wrong. I don't mean it that he's a different person. He is just working. So he's focused. Let me get this on the air. Let's go do this comedy bit and everything else.
Totally understandable.
Now he's just a guy who's hanging out. And he's not Jay Leno. There's Jay Leno, and then there's a guy named Jay. And so he walks us around, and he stops at one point, and he's asking me what I think about Sarah Palin. And I tell him, and he said, "Can I ask you?" He stops, and he turns to me, and he said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "When did we become this country?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "When did we become this country where if you vote differently than me, I have to hate you?" And I said, "I don't know, Jay, but it's wrong." And he said, "I know it is. And if we lose this, we're in real trouble." Now, he may have been lecturing me. I don't know. He may have been teaching me. He may have been commiserating with me, or he may have been lecturing me. I don't know. He was so soft-spoken and so kind about it. When one of my son was probably 4 or 5 at the time, and he runs towards this Bugatti, this like 1929 Bugatti, that's expensive. And Rafe is it's like slow motion. I see Rafe running towards the door with his jam hands and and I said to him, Rafe, stop. And Rafe just stops. And Jay looks at me and he said, "Oh, Rafe, go ahead. Open up the door, crawl inside." And he looks at me and he said, "You know what? What's the use of having stuff like this if you can't enjoy it? It's just a car, man." That is one of the most down-to-earth, good, solid guys I've ever met. I don't remember what it was. I called Jay about 2 months ago and just had a conversation off the air. There's something going on. I don't remember what it was. And I called him up. And again, exactly the same guy. Just really cool, really nice, and a guy that I quite honestly, I think we need to be more like. I tweeted last night, beyond comedian, beyond everything else, beyond, great host of The Tonight Show, great comedian, he is truly a great man. And if we were more like Jay Leno, if we would have talked less about his monologue and more about how he lived his life and who he really is as a person, I think America would be a better place. It is a really bittersweet day. Jay Leno is going to go on, and he's not going to be like Johnny Carson that just disappears. Jay Leno is going to go on and do many, many great things. I wish he would do them with TheBlaze, but I don't think that's in the card. But he is a great, great man, and he's going to go on and do many, many things. But this was an opportunity in a sea of filth and everything else, and anger and everything else. Jay Leno tried to show us every night, we don't have to be that way. We can be better. Good man. Sponsor